Welcome to Scream Queen's Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast. That was your final girl, Miss Justine.
Hey, and to my left is your soul survivor, Mr. Josh. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Here we are on another adventure, episode 54.
Episode 54.
Should we tell them what we're doing, where we're going?
Well, we are currently on I-45, traveling to the Houston area, and we're going to go visit. Where are we going, Josh?
We are heading south, and on, like you said, on Interstate 45, heading to Houston, Texas, to go to Brazos Bend State Park, which is technically just a little south of Houston, Texas. But while there, we're going to go hiking, just enjoy the state park. But the catch is, the park is full of alligators. And what movie are we covering, Justine?
Well, we're going to cover Lake Placid. There's a big-ass crocodile in it, and so we're just going to bring it up at the beginning. We know, but guess what? They're snappy reptiles, so just go with it.
We know there's a difference between alligators and crocodiles.
Is there?
However, we don't give a fuck.
I'm just kind of like, is there? Like, is there a huge difference?
Big, snappy reptiles, okay?
I guess if you want to, like, mince. I guess if you want to be enemies.
And also, around here, I don't know of anywhere with crocodiles, and we really wanted to cover Lake Placid. And we're in the middle of COVID. So this episode really works because we're going to go stay with Justine's aunt. So we'll be staying with family. We will be kind of just cooped up.
They've
swimming.
been hunkered down. Yes, they have a lovely residence with pool, and so we're going to hang out, see some family, but still stay very low-key and still well within numbers, be safe, got our masks. We're playing it safe. Hashtag play it safe.
Yeah, so while there, one thing we feel comfortable doing is going hiking in a state park.
Yes,
so
we already have our pass. We're good.
Yeah, we have our pass. We're going to go hiking and enjoy some alligator sightseeing. And along the way, we want to talk to you about
Lake Placid. All right, so let's just go ahead and dive right into that very still-watered lake.
Yeah, Lake Placid came out in the summer of '99, and that was a really good summer for movies. I remember seeing, like, there was the South Park movie, there was Eyes Wide Shut, there was American Pie, Sixth Sense. Like, it was a really fun summer for movies.
Galore.
Just to kind of, like, lay the scene for that summer. And then this movie was also among the mix, and it's a fun little monster romp.
It is. It's horror, it's suspense, thriller, it's funny, it's action. It's all there.
It's so refreshing on a hot summer day.
It's a big gulp of placid water.
And that's something funny about this movie, because it does not take place at Lake Placid. It's called, like, Black Lake or something.
Yes.
But they make a joke like, well, they wanted to call this Lake Placid, but that name was already taken.
Like, there's a lot of funny dialogue that you can tell is just really like, oh, just to clarify something, or just to make sure we touch on that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not too much, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, it's a little shallow. Like, there's not a lot underneath the surface, even though we are talking about a crocodile that's underneath the surface of a lake. But,
it's a very straightforward, kind of like horror comedy, adventure movie, if you will. There's a lot of, like, going down the lake or going down the river. I mean, it feels like a river, even though it's a big lake, but whatever. The way they're always exploring the lake.
Yeah, there's, like, these coves. There's a lot of little bays. There's a bay. We've got Betty White, who is playing a lady that lives on a lake.
Lady of the lake.
The lady of the lake. And but that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the star-studded cast that we're about to.
Yeah, and you know you're in good hands because of the director, Steve Miner, who is kind of a horror legend. Like, he doesn't get as much credit as some of the big wigs.
Even though
some of the big names like Craven, Carpenter. Right, he did Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3, which are some of the best of the series. He did House.
He did Halloween H2O.
Warlock, H2O. He's made... He has established his horror cred.
Yeah.
Did I mention House? That he
Yes,
directed
you
House?
mentioned
Yeah.
House.
That's a favorite. That movie's so fun.
And even started out like working with the best. He worked with Wes Craven on The Last House on the Left, so he worked as an editor on it. So he, even from the beginning, has really had a lot of awareness when it comes to like just really setting up a good horror movie.
And he's also dabbled in other genres as well. In the early 90s, he went through this weird kind of like Disney phase. He did Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. That's like the horse jumping movie. If anybody remembers that little gem.
That little gem. Oh my goodness.
We're on a wild stretch of road. Let's get off of it for our listeners. He also did Forever Young with Mel Gibson and Jamie Lee Curtis, which is kind of the connection probably with how he got H2O.
Yes.
But, so he kind of melds, like, his knowledge of different genres with Lake Placid.
And also, he brings with him a star-studded cast, and he also has a little cameo in the film. He plays an airplane pilot that Bridget Fonda kind of, like, shuts down.
She's
it's
not
funny.
nice to him.
She's definitely a breed. Okay, so, and the writer, David E. Kelley, I mean, it's just inundated with 90s pop culture, and, like, he's a big writer of a lot of TV shows, Ally McBeal.
Yeah, he was a really famous showrunner in the late 90s. Yeah, Ally McBeal, who didn't watch the Dancing Baby show.
Who didn't? That, was it the Chumbawamba song?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was also The Practice, I think, like Boston Legal,
Yeah.
and just all kind,
a lot of procedural, a lot of dramas
with
so,
like a wit and like a little
really
something extra.
Nice, witty writing. So, and that bleeds into this as well.
Or was it Boston Public? There was some show with the title Boston in it.
Yeah, Boston Public, maybe
Boston Legal.
Boston Legal.
I don't remember. He made shows.
When you said it, I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
He made shows and he's pushing it to Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's married to my baby girl, Michelle Pfeiffer. I love her.
She's great.
She's amazing. Oh, he's also from Maine. BT Dubs.
Oh, so that's kind of why
he placed it here. I think, me and David E. Kelley be hanging out on the weekends, and he's giving me all the tea, but...
You gotta ask him if Bridget Fonda was really a bitch like she is in the movie.
Bridget Fonda, I'm sorry, guys.
I love her.
Is.
What happened to Bridget Fonda? R.I.P. Bridget Fonda's career. What happened? Like, hello, Jackie Brown, single white female. She was in that movie Shag in the late 80s.
She had a lot of moments. But where are her moments for right now?
I'm not seeing a moment in this moment.
I don't have a moment to mention.
At this moment, there are no more moments.
There aren't any mentionable moments at the moment.
There's a big Bridget Fonda fan out there that's like, oh, bitch, she was on this episode of whatever show right now. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
And you don't have to name call us.
Yeah. We love you. We love Bridget Fonda. We just miss her.
You know who else I love? Bill Pullman.
He's such like the nice guy of the 90s.
Yeah,
also.
He worked with Wes Craven as well.
Yep, Serpent in the Rainbow. He's really good.
Casper. Who didn't love him as Daddy Casper, man? Like,
Daddy Casper, Dad.
Daddy Casper. He isn't Casper's
Independence
dad.
Day.
Yeah,
the president.
Independence Day.
He was our.
Stop it.
POTUS.
Exactly. Whoever's out there saying, never mind Bill Pullman. Never mind you.
Always mind Bill Pullman.
He should be on your mind. #, always on my mind.
Don't you
Bill
never
Pullman.
mind him. You always mind him.
Do you feel harassed yet?
Me or our listeners?
The listeners, if they haven't already, be like, boop.
Like, bye.
That's
You're mean
done.
to us today.
Okay, we got Oliver Platt, Brendan Gleeson. I said Betty White. There she is.
Brendan Gleeson trying to do an American accent.
A Maine accent as well.
I love him. He's a great actor, and he does bring a great presence, and he fits the character. Just his accent is a little bit on the shaky side in this movie.
Adam Arkin, and then Halloween H2O.
Yes, Halloween H2O. Hello.
Mariska Hargitay.
Yes.
Coming in, swooping in.
being.
Looking all Revlon 1999.
Yeah.
I was like, va-va-voom, there she is.
There.
But she isn't playing the most.
No.
enjoyable character.
She's a home wrecker.
She is. She's okay. Yeah. Let's see. We got
the heart ones with the heart ones.
That's true. We got anything else to mention before we get it? Yeah, we do. Let's talk about that monster creator extraordinaire, Stan Winston.
Stan Winston.
Yeah. Did Aliens, Jurassic Park, and then he came and he said, "Guess what? Let me make you a big ass crocodile."
And it looks good.
Yes.
You can tell the difference between the CGI and the actual monster that Stan Winston created, and the monster that you see.
Oh yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah, there's moments in this movie where there's definitely a crocodile of substance, and then just
CGI.
something just flipped up on the screen, and yeah, okay. It was made in British Columbia, Canada. We do love all of our Canadian friends out there.
So it's Canada for Maine. Basically.
Yeah, it's Canada for Maine instead of Maine for Maine, and maybe that's because in Canada they like filming. I mean, there's
tax write-offs up in Canada.
So that there's like the little part that's filmed in New York City when she's at the museum, but other than that, it's pretty much all filmed up there in Canada.
In Canada.
I mean, Lake Placid was so good that it spawned like 5 sequels or mashups. Like there's Anaconda versus Lake Placid.
I've actually never seen any of the sequels.
No, well, and they didn't actually come about until
probably
later
all straight to DVD. I bet.
Yeah, they didn't quite come out until about like 10. I think it was like 2007 was the second one, Lake Placid 2. So, we missed it. But what I didn't miss was being like 14 years old in 1999 and going and seeing this movie and then having it on VHS and
watching
this was definitely a at Dad's house movie.
Dad, can we watch Lake Placid?
You could count on him for like Independence Day, Air Force One, Con Air. This one falls in there. So thanks, Dad.
Thanks, George, for letting Justine watch it.
All right, well, let's.
You
want to mention anything else?
We start with that John Ottman score as we get this aerial view of the lake. It's flying over the lake, and we get this kind of ominous. Almost, it sounds more of like an adventure movie score than it does like a horror score.
There were moments almost where I was like, "Oh, are we about to watch like a Indiana Jones?"
Yeah,
like it does have an adventure feel to it, and we get to see beautiful Maine, even though we know it's not. And that still water, it's black.
Mm-hmm. And we end up on a sheriff played by Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah,
and
Sheriff Keogh, but they call him Hank a lot in the movie.
And then what is the scuba diver's job? He
works for the
Park
fishing
and Rec
game, and
fishing
he's
game.
tagging beavers.
Yes, he's a beaver tagger. You know what I mean? Cover up the old beaver if you don't want him tagging it.
He's been jumping up in them dams tagging beaver all day long.
You know what's so funny? It follows him, and he has a funny banter with Brendan Gleeson. You can tell they don't really care for each other. Brendan Gleeson is saying some nonsensical things like, "Well, I think animals should just be treated like animals. We don't need to know their business." Just kind of idiotic. Like, I don't.
I think it's like conversational filler. It's like he can't help it. He has to, like, there has to be noise.
Also can't help but being salty too.
Yes.
Like, he has to be negative, especially at the beginning.
Grumpy uncle.
Because him and funny enough, Bridget Fonda kind of have the same character arc, which is like they're these curmudgeons.
One's just from the country and the other's from the city.
Who at the end are like, okay, we see each other through different eyes.
We're way more well-rounded after the crocodile nearly killed us.
We're way less bitchy and grumpy. So at the beginning, he's just a curmudgeon. He's like, I don't know why you do this for a job. But the beaver tagger also seems really scared of the beavers, too.
I know, his job is, you're thinking that all day long he does is jump in dams, tag beavers, and then move about. But he is the most skittish of these little creatures with these buck teeth.
And I know that is actually kind of dangerous. Beaver dams and like people who do these things, they do get attacked by the animals.
Do you know this firsthand? Like, are you tagger? Are you
I
tagging?
am not a tagger, but a tagger has told someone who put it in a book or an online article that I read at some time that I don't remember, but I'm recalling it right now.
It's a dangerous job.
It's a dangerous pursuit to, like, fuck with a beaver den.
Oh.
Okay? And that's what he's doing. So
and
I think
he's
maybe...
having to be stealthy and tag him.
I almost wonder, is this his first time?
Maybe.
Because
well, this is...
we know something ominous, there's something tragic is going to happen. We know there's something in the water.
Oh, we know it because of that music.
Yeah, and we're getting
that music
those
told me so.
classic Jaws POV shots where we don't see the creature yet, but we know there's a creature because we're getting a POV shot and it's going towards someone's legs, and we're getting that music that's intensifying.
Ooh, we got intense music.
It's intensifying.
It's fire. Fire music. Okay, so
fire.
we do get a jump scare. It is a beaver jumping out, scaring our scuba diver.
We get the turtle and the beaver.
Yeah, well, and then we're just kind of like, we get a tsunami of jump scares.
Yeah.
And then when we're not expecting it.
It's almost like Steve Miner was like, we both know he's going to get attacked, so let me scare you a couple times.
Yeah, playing around with us and just kind of getting us on our toes. Like, when's it going to happen? And then it does.
It's like third time's the charm.
He gets taken. He's in a dam, so he's under the water, but he's in a dam. Damn. He gets grabbed. He is grabbed by big old chompers that got him around the legs, pull him out, and then he's just being swung around. He comes swimming up, and Brendan Gleeson gets just like a little nugget of him coming like, ah!
He's too busy messing with a Twinkies wrapper
and listening to that, like, I think I love you, so what am I so afraid of? So that's all playing, and that's lovely and wonderful.
You get that juxtaposition of the fun, happy music to then the guy getting eaten alive.
And he comes up again, and by this time the sheriff is like, oh my goodness, putting his hands out, trying to pull him up. He gets him pulled up, but
This is my favorite shot of the movie.
It is. It's the best shot of the movie, and we're only like 5 minutes in.
But maybe. I will say, one of the disappointing things about the movie is we never see anything this badass again the rest of the movie.
No.
We see a lot of great creature effects, but we don't see any more gore effects quite this intense the rest of the movie.
And then we get insides coming on the outside. We get guts and intestines falling out, kind of slipping and sliding in the boat, and he realizes it's only half of the fish and game guy.
Has been bitten completely in half.
Sorry.
And only the top half got pulled into the boat.
So we know something's got to do with something. You don't just pull your fish and game guy out of the lake. Only half of him coming out, unless something's got to do with something.
So cut to New York City.
Yeah, we'll cut to Bill Pullman showing up, and the sheriff is like, it wasn't a bear, because Bill Pullman, who's playing basically kind of the head of Fish and Game in Maine, he shows up, and he is Jack Wells. And so the Sheriff Hank, is all about like, this wasn't a bear, don't assume it was a bear, here's a tooth. Let's call somebody in New York City to get to the bottom of this.
Cut to Bridget Fonda. She is in a museum working on a skeleton of some dinosaur.
Like a fossil.
Yeah. It's big, whatever it is. And she's just sitting there, doing what an archaeologist or a paleontologist at a museum does, whatever that is. For a movie, it's acting very generic and just like dusting things.
Yeah, like she's not very, like I said, guys, it's all very surface.
And her Kevin, her boss, sticks his head. He's like, hey, I need to talk to you.
Adam Arkin plays him.
And he proceeds to tell her in a quiet room that, hey,
can I steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you?
Hey, can I steal you for a minute?
That's exactly what he says. Yeah. It's not exactly how he says it.
It is exactly how he says
can I steal you?
Hey, girl, can I steal you for a minute? And
so
then he steals her. And then he tells her,
hey, baby girl, I'm seeing somebody else. We're going to have to break up.
Yeah, that's off screen. We have no idea. But we cut to her hyperventilating in her paleontologist chair, I guess. We'll just prescribe everything. It's just generic. So.
And here comes Mariska Hargitay like, oh, girlfriend.
Hey, I'm in my short skirt and I've got my French tip nails and my outlined lips and 1999.
Make my mouth look like an asshole.
But girl, what's wrong, girl? And then Bridget Fonda's
girl, what's wrong, girl?
Bridget Fonda, she's like, girl, I'm hyperventilating. I'm trying to do my breathing. Why are you coming in here? And then she's like, well, I might have heard the news that...
Girl, I heard the news, girl.
Girl, I heard the news, girl, that you got dumped, girl, by... boy,
Kevin, girl.
Girl, you got dumped, girl.
And Bridget Fonda's like, girl, how'd you know that, girl? And Mariska Hargitay's like, girl, he told me, girl, because I'm talking to him, girl.
8 inches deep. So he spilled the tea. Not following social distancing.
He spilled the tea while I was getting the D.
All up in my pee. Oh my God! As usual, we go straight for PV and D, and
we just turn this classy joint into the nastiest of hangouts.
Well, that's where I thrive.
In the skeezy gray area.
It's right there in that. Oh my goodness! Right there in that gray. Okay, let's keep going. So Bridget Fonda is just really needing a moment to herself, and then
here comes Kevin again.
Her boss shows back up and is like, "Hey, girl, hey, remember when I broke your heart, girl, like 2 seconds ago?"
She's like, "Yeah, boy, I remember, boy."
Hi, fuck off. I do like. Okay, so he walks in and he's like, "I need to talk to you. It's work related." She's like, "Oh, hey there, Kevin. What's up? Fuck off. Go suck a dick." And
he's like, "It's work related, bitch.
I actually have to. I have to have a conversation with you, but it is personally like motivated because I want you to go away, even though that's not in your job description, and I want you to be a field specialist."
He's like, "I'm sending you to Maine to check out this tooth," and she's like, "Hey, boy, I'm not a field specialist." He's like, "Girl, you are today." She's like, "Boy, you're just doing this because you want me out of the office because you and Whoreface are feeling all kinds of feels that I'm in the same space after you both broke my heart."
Yep. David E. Kelly loves like kind of an angsty, bitter, like high manic lady.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he's thriving in his writing.
So she gets sent. She's not happy about it.
She gets sent. She's ostracized away to Maine.
And she's not happy about Maine. She acts like Maine is like, I don't know,
the
like
wilderness.
The fucking moon.
Yeah,
or something.
She does treat it as if it. Well, she even makes a reference to it being like Deliverance, which is in Georgia.
Yeah, that's like a southern reference. I'm like, you're up like in the most northern of states.
No, it's like it's not a thing. Bridget Fonda forgot how to read maps, I guess. But okay, it's when she's traveling that we get our little cameo of Steve Miner playing the the pilot in the helicopter or airplane, and he's like talking to her because there's a little bit of bumpiness that's happening. They've obviously like caught like a stream, and he's just telling her like it's okay or whatever, and she looks up at him and is like, "Please do not talk to me."
Yeah, he's like, "Everything's gonna be okay. We'll be there soon. Please don't speak to me." Yeah, she's not the nicest of characters, but
laying on that bitchy tone.
Yeah. And then so they get there, and she arrives and
meets up with the sheriff
at the morgue, right?
Yeah. The sheriff like picks her up and is like, "Here, let me take you to get the actual tooth and look at under a microscope."
And she's freaked out at first, but she ends up going in. She even asks to look at the body, but then it really shakes her up when she sees that it's bitten into. And the tooth, she's like, "This is reptilian. This is not a bear.
This is definitely it is and isn't prehistoric," because that's the whole reason why she was sent there. Is like it's a prehistoric tooth. But I do. She never sells her job very well. You know, even when she gets there, she should gets on them for not treating her like a professional, but she also doesn't act like one.
She's very whiny and entitled.
Hates like to be like around a mosquito and is like spraying all the Raid and just kind of acting like a fish out of water, but then being really bitchy and judgy about where she is.
Yeah.
And so she's looking over that tooth because, you know, who wouldn't want to look over it? She's like, you know what? This is definitely a reptile. Take me to the lake.
Take me to the lake. And so this is when they meet up with Bill Pullman.
Yep, so Jack. Now we get our little trio together.
And then we get this weird cameo. It's the oddest thing where I don't even know who this actress is, but they're all talking, you know, she's shitting on Maine. You're kind of just getting some exposition about who they are as characters as they're loading up their vans. And this girl, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, she was like in a lot of like late 90s and early 2000 movies.
She walks out like she owns the fucking movie.
Yes.
And then she's like, hey guys, was someone really eaten in half by an alligator?
Oh my gosh.
Or a crocodile? And they're like, yeah, we think. It's just the oddest thing. She asks a question and then she walks off, but there's a lot of time given to this question and to this character. And she walks off in these tight pants. All the guys drop their jaws.
Oh my goodness. So it was an outfit that I swear I could have bought at Express.
Everybody wore that outfit.
Yes.
Or every girl wore that outfit like in 1999. It's like white spaghetti strap with like capri pants.
Yes, and they're
like
all
wedge.
plaid. And, yeah. Oh my goodness. It was a look.
It's just a really odd cameo. Like
it doesn't need to be.
No. And then, like I said, so much time is given to it.
Yeah.
You watch her walk in. She has her little like question she has, and then there's a lot of time given to her walking off.
And the guys kind of looking her over. Even Bridget Fonda looking her over. Like
was she?
Everybody is having a judgment about her in some way, and we are having to have one as well. And I don't get it. It's just a weird throw-in.
Yeah, it doesn't add much to like character development, other than to be like, boys will be boys, and
and
Bridget Fonda's going to be offended. Like,
and if anything, it's like, oh, see how we're already trying to cover up, you know? Because she asks like, wasn't somebody cut in half? And he's like, oh, there was just an accident that was out there, you know, downplay, like let's down.
Unless they're really trying to signal or show like the men versus women aspect, or like she's this woman hanging out with these guys or checking out the girls when they walk by, and later they even say something about her like, oh, we didn't bring the
feminine pads,
the feminine napkins, or whatever. So maybe that's what they're playing with right there, but it's just an odd scene.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
I don't care for it, and I am gonna definitely on the record, it's not necessary. It doesn't further the plot. It doesn't need to be in there. Okay, so we do get them on the water. That's fun.
Yeah, that's always when this movie's at its best, when they're on the water.
On the water, and the stakes are a little higher, and they come across a floating rack, and they pull it up, and it's a moose head.
Yeah, again, it looks like it's just been bitten right off.
The Sheriff Hank, he tosses it kind of, like he loses his grip.
I like this stuff.
I do like this scene. All these little moments where the characters get to have funny banter, that's where the movie is at its best.
So he kind of drops it in the boat, hits her shoes, she slaps him, she's like, how dare you? She keeps slapping him. And then they have some more funny banter.
And they're basically just building up that, oh my gosh, you probably can't hack it in the wilderness because guess what? We're all camping. We're going to a campsite. We get to the campsite at Black Lake and we meet the rest of the crew. What's funny is the only characters that ever die off in here are people we don't know.
Never know, really.
And don't care for, because I don't know who that person is. Why would I? It just doesn't matter at all to me.
And I think first we get Hector flying in. Is this when Hector flies in?
Yeah, we get Deputy Big Boobs. We get her introduction. And then Hector.
Who is played by kind of a famous child actor. Oh God, her name is not coming to me. She was in that movie with John Cusack in the 90s.
I didn't write it down.
You didn't write her name down?
I just wrote down Deputy Big Boobs.
Yeah, she even, I think, won like a Child Golden Globe or like Child Award for, well, shit.
Yeah, she's got funny little moments. Everybody has like funny lines that they say. Everybody gets their fair share of time on this movie. And they definitely spent a lot of money on the cast.
Yeah.
I would say way more of it's spent on the cast than even production. And
and it looks nice. It's all shot in widescreen. The director had said that he was really trying to capture, the feel of nature, kind of like you would see if you were watching like a nature documentary.
Yeah, really trying to not take you into a studio, but you're outside, giving
practical
you that feel.
locations. You do feel it too. You can tell. There's maybe a scene at the end where you.
Oh, there's definitely some. Yeah, at the end where they probably were filming in a studio, but
a lot of it looks really great though.
Yeah.
But here comes Hector. He's flying, and then they're like, "Oh, here's our crocodile expert."
Yeah, here comes in this just like really eccentric, uber rich professor of mythology who specializes in crocodiles. So Bridget Fonda is giving all of this exposition.
Yeah, she knows him, of course.
She knows him because they are in those circles together.
Intellectual museum circles.
Academia. Because also we don't really know what museum it is. It's just some natural history museum in New York City that's center. They're just very generic about, you came from the museum. Like, there's just
museum.
one. There's just one.
Yeah.
In the whole world, we just have the museum. Okay, so Kelly and Jack and Hank visit Dolores, who has a really funny kind of story about how her husband went, missing, and she admits that she killed him, but it's because, she knocked him with a frying pan. He was getting old, didn't want to go to the doctor, and she has a funny line where the sheriff is like, it's not on our records that he's dead. She's like, oh, well, missing records
incomplete records haunt me. Yeah, she's, of course, Betty White's like the funniest part of this movie. They just give her all, they give her a potty mouth, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
hearing
she's got R-rated.
An old white woman say just like hilarious,
saying the F word a whole bunch,
things,
and so we get to know her a little bit, and Hector and the gang, he's like, I want to go out on the water, take me out. We can put a little speaker down there, and it's hatchlings, and I can go scuba dive. So there they are on that water, and it's also very still, and then we get all of these fish start jumping on top, dancing on top of the water.
Yes.
And Bill Pullman's like, oh my goodness, that's a sign of them being scared.
That's the sturgeon are scared.
Or
whatever.
The perch.
The perch are scared.
And it's kind of right in that moment that Bridget Fonda and her boat, it's the sheriff and her in the boat, and she goes way up in the air and is kind of catapulted into the water, and then has to swim back.
And you're like, oh no, she's gonna get eaten.
That's obviously where we get our scary moment, because so we don't know it's a crocodile yet. We haven't seen it. We've got a crocodile expert there. We've got a body that's been pulled out of the water, and we have a moose head. So everybody's like, well, it's got to be something, but we don't know it's a crocodile. It must be something snappy. We got to get away.
Yes.
So they try to pull up that speaker, and this is when we get the extra deputy that gets beheaded by the...
Yeah. That's already...
hold on. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong page. I was on this page, and we're on this page. Oh, okay. He pulls up the speaker, and they get out of there, and now Kelly's all shook. She's like, oh my gosh, I nearly just died, but I don't know what from. And she calls the
Florida fishing game or something.
I guess they're
She calls
Maine,
Florida for help, and they're like, not until you see something will we come help you.
Yeah, and Hector and the sheriff fall madly in love and decide that they're the best of friends, and they really want to get to know each other a lot better. No, not really. They hate each other,
but Hector's coming along.
Hector builds a whole bunch of like traps, and the sheriff gets caught up in them. There's little funny parts to kind of just set the tone for, or I guess kind of just relief in the moment, right after you just got scared about your crocodile attack. So we get a bear attack that happens right after a funny little trap is set, and everybody gets really scared because we were just lighthearted and it was just comedy. And
the moment comes as a shock because everyone's laughing, everything's calm and nice, you think everything's good, and then here comes this bear out of nowhere trying to attack them.
And the bear is right by the shore of the lake, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh!" But we get our first reveal of the crocodile, and there he is. He's 30 feet long, and they're all mesmerized by it. I mean, luckily, it wants the bear because they're all just like bewildered.
And then he's nice and full for a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, nice and full. So they decide to go back out, and that's when we get this extra deputy. He gets beheaded by the crocodile.
They're using like radar equipment and stuff that Hector has brought, and Hector's all of a sudden like, "Oh, I see something approaching," and he's getting, things are beeping on his radar, and they're looking over the edge trying to figure out where he's coming from, and then all of a sudden.
But it's like, it's really dark water, so it is always a big surprise when he comes up and he snaps his...
Again, a character we don't really know.
Yeah. Snaps his deputy's head just right off, and he's still kind of holding on to his equipment when he falls over.
They don't hold on to the shot long enough. You don't get to see that severed head too long.
But we do get a reprise of that severed head. But so the severed head seems to be a little lost in the water to us, and we get this funny moment where Betty White is caught feeding the cow, she's feeding the cow to the crocodile, because now they know there's a crocodile, and it's obviously very hungry, and they've got to go out and search for the missing head. And Bridget Fonda finds it, and it like falls in her face, and she makes a funny like,
head.
Yeah, like, I'm getting sick of it. I guess I'd get a little sick of severed heads falling in my face.
Like, it's been moose heads, people heads.
And Hector has this like great idea that he's going to take Deputy Big Boobs out for a helicopter ride, and they're going to try to find where the crocodile hangs out when he's not so hungry.
Yeah, and Hector and Dr. Big Boobs, or Sheriff Big Boobs, or Officer Big Boobs, they've kind of are like becoming an item. The night before, they were like dancing, they had this party in their tents, and they were digging holes trying to trap the alligator, and he had asked the sheriff if she could stay in his tent, and the sheriff would not allow it.
Because he's a curmudgeon.
But now they're getting their time together.
And she promises him sex, because she's like, "Please don't go out in that water.
I'll have sex with you."
"Oh no, don't do it, please no." But of course, we need him to do it because we need some more croc time.
Yeah. So he goes diving.
And he meets up with the crocodile, and he like looks the crocodile in the eyes, and he has his like God moment with the crocodile, and
he has to end up inflating his life jacket to distract the crocodile, though, and he jumps up onto the helicopter, and Officer Big Boobs, and we didn't coin that. They call her that in the movie because it's not misogynistic at all.
No, not at all. Anyways,
it's hilarious.
They take off and they get away. She has notified everybody else back at the camp, so when they get there, they're all pissed. I think they're pissed, like, well, one, because he had the deputy, and she didn't really consent to going and looking for the crocodile. She thought they were going on a ride in his helicopter, and then the other reason is they're trying to not lose the equipment that he has, because they do want to catch it, and this is where we get a little clarification on why they want to catch it. So we've got Hector and we've got Kelly, and their whole lives are wrapped up in these animals and in the glorification of them, and so they're like, "Oh my gosh, an Asian crocodile has just swam all the way here to Maine.
We need to study it
in a lake. Why we shouldn't kill it?" And the game warden, Bill Pullman's character, and the sheriff are like, "No, it's 30 feet long. It's already killed people. We need to kill it."
So like, both ecologically and biologically, there's so many reasons why we need to study this fucking crocodile.
So they all hatch a plan, and they decide to lure the crocodile. Okay, so it's right before they decide this that they go and talk to Betty White, and they find out that her husband died as well, was eaten by the crocodile.
Yes.
And so they have to put her under house arrest because she's now like lied to the police officers. So they decide we'll just take one of her cows. She's under house arrest, so we'll use her cows. And
as bait on the helicopter, just flying around the lake.
And Bridget Fonda has the best like description of what the cow looks like hanging from the helicopter.
Like a tea bag.
Like a big brown tea bag. Oh my goodness. And that cow doesn't look happy. You feel for it.
Yeah, she even says that is not a happy cow.
And it's thrashing in the water, really trying to lure it in. It takes like all night. They start this and the sun is still up. And it's not until nightfall that the crocodile decides to show up. And here we go.
They're trying to lure him in. They're teabagging him in the water.
They're teabagging the crocodile. The helicopter starts to have a lot of problems, and the harness for the cow gets broken.
The cow gets eaten.
No, the cow doesn't get eaten. That's at the end. We see that the cow is all safe. Betty White fed a cow to the crocodile, but that's not the same one. Okay, so we get the crocodile on the land, and everybody's scurrying, grabbing their guns, trying to get the tranquilizers.
This is when it feels like it's maybe all on a set.
Yes. We get Bridget Fonda. She gets tail whipped into the water. She's got to swim over to Hector.
Yeah, Hector's like, your only way to escape is to swim over to me at this point. And he tells her, dive under, and she does. And there's this moment where she's kind of trapped. Her foot gets trapped, and she's hiding behind, I don't know what it is in the water, but
it's
like
a
big
tree
log
branch,
or tree or root, and she's hiding behind it, and the crocodile's trying to get her. She finally gets loose, swims up, and gets saved by Hector.
Gets on the helicopter, but the helicopter now can't take off, but they are able to the doors are open, and the crocodile jumps through the helicopter and then gets trapped.
They have him
wedged, and they just are like, yay, we've got our animal. And there's this moment where we don't know, are they going to trank him, are they not going to trank him? Save the crocodile.
Well, you get the feeling that the sheriff really wants to kill an animal, kill a crocodile,
wants to shoot that gun.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden, surprise attack, there's another crocodile,
and it jumps out of the water and tries to grab Hector and bites Hector, but he's okay.
They kill him.
Yeah, Hank gets to use his gun, and that crocodile explodes. We get like chum everywhere. This crocodile pieces, pink mist, or what is it? Pink dust or something.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah. And so we do have one crocodile that is saved. By this time, the fish and game people from Florida show up, and
they're going to save this crocodile.
We get a wrap up on all of our characters and their growth.
They're all like, goodbye. They all seem like they're sad to leave each other. They have been kind of hinting at a romance throughout the whole movie with Bridget Fonda and Bill Pullman. They even have this weird moment in the tent earlier on where they're like telling each other about their lives, and it's, I don't know. But they never really follow up on that. Except from at the end, they get like this little sentimental goodbye.
They go have a beer.
Yeah.
But the best goodbyes are the ones that we see of the crocodile on the big semi-truck. Yeah, being carted off, taken to a place for safekeeping. And we get even the sheriff and Hector. The sheriff goes to the hospital with Hector because he got bit. And so he's like, yeah, I guess I'll go with you because we're totally
friends
buds
now, yeah.
And then we get Betty White, who I guess they don't end up, putting her under arrest, because we get her days later going out on the deck on the dock of her little.
Yeah, on the deck.
And the little crocodile babies come up, and she's feeding them.
She puts her toes in the water. She's like, nibble on my toes, babies. She actually does say that.
She does. She's like, I'm your mama. And then the movie's over.
So there's where you get your sequels, as those babies grow up, I guess.
Them babies. They grow up to be crocodiles.
Don't let your babies grow up to be crocodiles.
So our movie's over, and it's time for us to
go to Brazos Bend State Park
and go see some alligators. I don't think we're going to see any 30-foot ones.
I hope not.
That'll be...
We won't be able to come back and record part 2.
I guess you'll know if there's never a part 2. That...
So, you guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back in just like 5 seconds.
Okay, bye!
And we are back, friends.
Woo, hello. How are ya?
We just got back from a awesome Texas adventure. Texas-sized adventure.
Texas-sized adventure.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
And it never disappoints. I mean, I don't think we've ever been on a Texas journey.
I know being from Oklahoma, we're supposed to hate Texas, but I mean, they're kind of the same place.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Oklahoma, are we supposed to hate Texas? That's a sincere question.
Why do we have to hate? Why is there so much hate?
From a concerned Oklahoman. I'm all love all the time. Give me love.
I don't think that's true.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah,
well, we're back. We've crossed that Red River.
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma now. We've crossed that state line, and our state line is a river, so she is correct.
That's right.
So, here we are. We had a really awesome weekend.
Yes.
Extended weekend.
We had a little 4-day kind of adventure, but before we get into that, let's give a little shout out. Thank you so much for the rating. Big Bad Voodoo Lou.
Yes, also known as Uncle Voodoo on iTunes. He gave us a wonderful 5-star review, and it melted our hearts, meant a lot to us.
I cried. I read it, and I was getting in the shower, and I was like, I had a girl cry because I was like, thank you for that love.
It does mean a lot to us. It really helps the show. I mean, we do this unsponsored. No one's giving us money to go on these trips. So just getting like some cool feedback means the world to us.
It really does.
So thanks.
Sunshine.
Big Bad Voodoo Lou. You're awesome.
Voodoo Lou.
Follow him on Instagram. He has a great Instagram account. He's always counting down Halloween. You'll love it.
Yes, if you're a fan of things that are horror and Halloween and spooky, and you'll enjoy his IG page as well. Okay, let's get into it. So we spent some time with my fam, Uncle Stephen, and Aunt
Uncle
Jana. Uncle and Aunt, just hanging out, having lots of pool time. Houston's closed down, so basically you just stay at home, and if you get to, have a pool, then life is wonderful. And
yeah, we felt pretty safe. We were in an area just kind of like Oklahoma that the virus is ravishing right now. So we do all the social distancing we can, and we wear our masks, and we do our due diligence. And we felt safe going down and seeing her aunt because they've been doing the same, and we're just going to stay in their house, and that's what we did for like a couple days. We just swam. We ate all kinds of good food. We had a tequila tasting, which was awesome. They got all the tequilas out for us, and we just took. We had to try them all. We had to taste them.
We had some good Texas brews too.
Yeah, it was an awesome weekend. They were so hospitable and awesome, and we had lots of yummy free food and drinks.
We enjoyed the hell out of it.
And an awesome pool to swim in the whole weekend. We were pretty much in that pool all weekend when we weren't eating or drinking.
Jamming out to like Yacht Rock, hanging out in the hot tub.
We did do a little like alligator crocodile pre-gaming while we were at her aunt's house. They have a really cool little trail and park in their neighborhood. What is the name of it?
It's the state park behind them is the W. Goodrich Jones State Park, and it was
really cool. It was a lot of trails, really neat trails that are like, you're going over these rickety suspension bridges and wooden bridges all over, and we didn't see any crocs or gators there.
No, we did see, we saw some bugs, and that was about it, and it was very swampy feeling, humidity-wise.
Should I tell them? I straight up sweat through my clothes on that trip. It looked like I had pissed and shit myself.
Guys, humidity's real.
Maybe I did, and I'm just blaming the Houston humidity, but whatever.
Well,
No.
you didn't stink, so if you did, like, diarrhea shit your drawers around me, you, one, plated well. I mean, not a single duck sound came out of your booty.
Well, the main problem, I made the choice of not wearing, like, basketball shorts or running pants or, something that the sweat just rolls off of. I wore, like, khakis. Or, like, khaki shorts. They're, like, these red, like, cloth shorts, and... Yeah, it doesn't stand up to the humidity in Houston. At least not that day on that walk.
Yeah, it was hot. It's Houston, so...
I definitely learned my lesson for the next day when we went to Brazos Bend State Park.
I loved it. I loved when we pulled up, because it was, what would you say, about an hour and 15 minutes away from where my aunt and them lived.
We were a little bit north of Houston, so we had to go to South Houston to get to the park. So yeah, probably about like hour 15 minutes. And it took from like the Woodlands to get down to Brazos Bend State Park.
Yeah, and we get deep in there because there's just
we got all deep in it.
Nothing but lakes and cloves and things like that.
It gets very kind of swampy. It really reminded me of Orlando for some reason, like, or Florida. Houston
it's
does.
Just very like
it's got that more
bayou.
Like swampy palm tree vibe.
Yep.
You got Galveston just down the highway.
Well, it was there. We pulled into the entrance, and
they're already showing you alligator stuff everywhere.
Yeah, it was when I had that first initial moment of like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? We've been talking about like, we're going to an alligator state park, and they're gonna be swimming around, and but we pull up and I see this sign, and it is the sign that says Brazos Bend State Park, and it's just an alligator on there, and my heart dropped. I was like,
and I had been
big old alligators in there.
Yeah, big ones. I went with my family like 20 years ago. That's how we kind of got the idea for this trip. But we didn't see, when I went 20 years ago, we saw one. We saw like at least 5 alligators on this trip.
Yeah, clearly sighted.
But when you first get in, and straight away, let me tell you, we felt safe there also. They have restrictions at the park. If you do find yourself wanting to go, you need to sign up ahead of time. We registered, like, I think we went on Monday, yesterday, and we signed up on last Friday.
Yeah.
So we did a few days ahead of time because it's lower capacity right now. They are encouraging masks. We didn't really walk by many people, but when we did, we pulled our masks up, and so we felt safe.
From the people.
From the virus.
Yeah. Let's get into... Oh, goodness. Guys, there's no barrier. You're walking along, and you could, just getting out of your car, there could be an alligator.
Oh, yeah. They give you a list of things to do and not do when you encounter an alligator, because it's inevitable at the park.
Oh, can I please
read them off.
Okay, so we get a little... So we check in and hand them our little ticket that we, because we'd already purchased, pre-ordered. Okay, we get there and they hand us the little map so we know where we're going on all these trails.
I'm like, I want to go there. I want to go there. Oh, Justine, we got to go that trail too.
Like, Josh, look, Alligator Etiquette. It's at the very top. Okay, I'll start with the number 1 because it's all in bold. This is number 1. Absolutely do not feed or annoy the alligators.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you annoy an alligator? I guess, like, yell, throw things at it,
Yeah.
stay too long after the party, leave your trash in his house. I don't know. How do you annoy an alligator?
I guess here's another list.
Play your music too loud?
Maybe here's some things that might annoy an alligator. So if you get too close to his space, the social distancing for us is 6 feet, but for an alligator, it's 30 feet. And so you need to keep at least 30 feet from an alligator. Do not assume they're slow moving.
Oh, I will never assume an alligator is slow moving. That's something you don't have to worry about with me.
We're on walking trails. So like if you are taking a picture, maybe we pull up and there's this beautiful little lily pond we want to take a picture of. Maybe we see a turtle, turn around, the alligator's right behind us.
Right there by us. His eyes sticking up. He's just floating by, looking at us. If you check out our Instagram stories, there is one that says like episode 54, and it has some of our alligator encounters in there if you want to see them.
But like, are we worried about that 30 feet when we're just like, it's like, guys, you're going to be so close to them. You don't even know. Okay, here's the other ones okay, so do not swim or wade in the water, because that's a real concern, apparently. Keep your pets on a leash, no longer than a 6-foot leash. So you got to keep them real close.
I wouldn't want to take my dog or my cat on its leash.
Do not throw objects in the water for your dog to retrieve.
Oh my God.
Come on, guys. Who's going to an alligator park and saying, let's go swimming?
I got my raft.
Oh, here's one. If you are fishing, if an alligator goes after a fish you have caught, cut the line and let the alligator have the fish.
No, that gator ain't getting my fish.
The alligator gets to eat today,
That's my
guys.
fucking trout.
And hopefully not like you. Hopefully you give them the fish. These rules just crack me up because I'm like, really? We had to put it in writing?
Yeah, and we were constantly like, you're on edge the whole time walking through this park. And there's a lot of trails. We were there for a couple of hours. We did at least, 5 miles of walking?
Yeah, there was a lot of sweaty walking involved. Avoid any alligator sunning itself in the middle of the trail or lake bank.
And that was our biggest fear, is that we were going to see one out of the water.
Yes.
Because I can handle one swimming. I feel a little safer for some reason, because I'm like, okay, first he's got to swim over, then he's got to get out and then chase me. While he's swimming over, I can maybe get out of his area.
I can get my distance.
Yeah.
But if you turn around and there's one right there, sunning itself.
Or just on the edge of the trail. Like, these trails were massive, and there's forests surrounding you everywhere. Like, they could be anywhere at any time.
Yeah, and it even says here, stay clear of grasses. It may be a nest, and the mother alligator is probably close by guarding it.
And we're seeing those like every few feet. So that put us even more on edge, that it says to look out for these nests that might be on the side. If you're seeing mounds of dirt or like broken limbs and such.
And twigs. It's a nest.
It's a gator nest.
They were everywhere.
Everywhere.
The trails were like inundated with these like nests, and you just know that you've got some alligator coming.
Lake Placid's fresh in our mind, and we know it's a crocodile, but come on.
I'm not worried about the difference.
I'm not worried about exactly. I'm not worried about the difference when I'm at a gator park. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here's another one. If the alligator opens its mouth and hisses, you are too close.
Yeah, I think so. If it's talking to me.
If it's telling me to back the fuck up, Karen, get back.
If it's hissing at me like a kitty, then you're too close.
So the rules immediately put us like on high alert.
But it ended up being like one of the coolest hikes. Hiking and walking, going on like epic walks are kind of me and Justine's thing.
Oh, yeah.
We love a good walk.
Loves a good hikey hike.
There. We'll walk over there. We'll even go back and walk there, too, okay?
Maybe I'm going to go walk up that way and then head over this way and then circle back.
We love a good walk in a cool location.
You just never know. Okay, but also we got to see, you
really
took a picture, and that was an awesome picture of an alligator catching a bird.
Yes, I just happened to snap it at the perfect time. No, I was setting up my iPhone for a great shot, and as I was focusing on the alligator, he jumped up to eat this like egret or some kind of white bird.
We tried to look it up.
I just like saying egret, so I'll say it one more time. He got this egret.
He was an egret.
And I got it on my iPhone, okay?
Really good picture. We tried also to get a picture of the humongous, scary spiders that we constantly encountered. They were called Orb Weavers. We found a guy on one of the trails that we did, and he was taking ridiculously like close pictures.
Yeah, he says they're very docile but very poisonous, but they won't really come after you.
Sir, you don't know. Like, excuse, I guess he was an expert. I don't know. He had a big camera, so... He
must be an expert if he has a big camera.
Must be. He told us what they were called. But I'm like, really? Docile? Like, did you invite him to a party? Did they bring over tray bakes? Like, what makes them docile?
Well, I did hear that, yes, he brought them to a party. And those Orb Weavers didn't roofie anybody. So
didn't roofie a single person.
They're really docile.
Docile. I love, like, it's like a dog. Like,
yeah.
No, it's fine. It's just
docile.
like... Oh, and it was on the...
But they were everywhere, and they were huge, and they were above your head every few feet.
Yes.
We didn't clue into them, really, on the first trail. I don't think they were on the first trail, to be honest. It was once we hit the second trail that led in. It was almost like trail on trail on trail. You'd be on one trail, and there would be like a trail extension. Then you're on that trail extension. There might be another trail extension. And they all they all ended up meeting up in the same spot. And, we know how to use a map. So we took all the extensions. But it was kind of once we got on those extensions that those spiders were everywhere.
They weren't necessarily by, like, the big lake area, but they were along, like, these, like, little rivers and these little swampy areas where I was like, there's alligators in there just sleeping, little babies. And then there's these scary ass spiders. It was so ominous. It reminded me weirdly of, like, a haunted mansion.
Yeah, I could see some. It really reminded me too, that like haunted mansion or like the forest in Wizard of Oz. I don't know why, but it was really a creepy forest. We were even yesterday while we were going through it talking about how it felt like a real life haunted house. We're like, this is probably the closest we're gonna get to a haunted house. This year. So
I even wrote down, like, hey, if you're in the Houston area, it's all shut down, and you still want to be scared shitless, go to Brazos State Park.
Yeah, because you're going to be looking out for alligators and huge spiders the whole time. So
and
it's
closer
like real
to Halloween,
thrills.
You could probably wear another different mask when they just, like,
and I wonder
your...
how often, like, seasonal. I'm sure it's usually warmer in Houston anyways, but I wonder if they come out less in the winter.
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyways,
but it's scary.
You should go. It's creepy.
It's a year-round haunted house of
Yeah,
sorts.
it's the most haunted house you'll probably get this year.
Okay, so we also saw, I mentioned those beautiful lily pads, and it's just
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, but there are alligators swimming in there.
Yeah.
Scary.
Everywhere.
It's just...
I mean, we would look and be like,
infested.
oh, look over there. And we saw this one that had to be at least, 5-6 feet or more.
Or 15 or 30.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, he might have even been that big. He looked like longer than a human.
Swimming up in the river.
At least 6 feet.
Yeah, at least he was 6 feet.
Yeah.
Like, if you're 6 foot, and if you laid down, I'd imagine that you were the length of that alligator.
Okay.
And he was swimming up that little river, just minding his own business, thinking, I've been around for millions and millions and millions of years because I'm a killing machine. Fish don't fuck with me. Just saying it to himself.
And we were like, cool.
Yeah, I was.
There's your space. Here's our space. We ain't fucking with no one.
We were giving him 30 plus 100 million feet distance.
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to be over here looking at you, appreciating you, beautiful, majestic creature that you are, but you're snappy. So I don't want to get around your mouth.
It was a great time. Some of the stuff is closed right now because of COVID. Like, they have a nature center that was closed. They usually have a not a planetarium. What's it called when it's outside and you just look at the stars? A
terrarium. What is that thing called? No.
Oh my God, we're being so stupid. Anyways, they have an outdoor amphitheater where you can look at the stars. I'll just say that.
Yeah, a planetarium.
An outdoor planetarium. No, but they have an amphitheater that also has a big telescope. They got moon shit, y'all.
It's like an observatory. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. An observatory.
Okay, so it's a little shut down. Couldn't get the souvenirs, but we got pictures. We had memories.
Our memories will last a lifetime, Justine.
A lifetime upon a lifetime. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
A great little, pairing.
Yep, and then yesterday after, we drove into downtown Houston, stayed in our hotel, and we tried, Houston shut down. We tried ordering from at least 3 places from Postmates.
We had some dinner drama, guys.
And they would keep coming back. You would put your order in, and then it would take at least 20 minutes for you to get a message saying, oh, that restaurant is closed. So that happened at least 3 times. So it took over an hour and a half before we could even get an order in somewhere.
And also just where our hotel was and the restaurants that were around, they were all shut down.
Guys,
and it's just
first world problems. We had them last night, okay? Then we finally got our fucking seafood.
We did get some seafood, and we watched on Shudder. Check it out, guys. It's called Scream Queen, and it's about Mark Patton.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been on Shudder for a few months now. Some of you guys might have seen it. If not, check it out. It's a really great portrait of an actor and what he went through, and
from Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
In his journey.
And just kind of what has unfolded since then.
Yep,
It's
that's
beautiful.
right.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's what we did. That was our journey.
And we are journeying back. We're in Oklahoma now, like we said.
Our adventure.
And we're sitting here thinking about Lake Placid, the movie that we tied all this in with. Yeah, not a crocodile. Yeah, it's an alligator. But you know what? Who fucking cares?
Yeah, who fucking cares?
We just really wanted to do Lake Placid.
Yes, and we wanted to go see some snappy animals. So just back
like,
off.
You know, if it's green and it snaps and it's long, if it looks like a crocodile, sounds like a crocodile, it's an alligator, okay?
I can't even say that if there was a big old like turtle farm and they had like snapping turtles that we would have been like, yeah, let's cover Lake Placid. I mean, who knows? It's COVID, guys. We're working here.
Yeah.
We're trying.
We're doing it.
Okay, let's get into fave scenes, knives ratings. Let's do this.
Let's do our one little piece of housekeeping for this movie.
Yes, we do. We need to do that housekeeping.
We did look up the actress's name that we were talking about from the movie. It is Meredith Salinger.
Yes, we kept referring to her.
She was kind of a famous kid actress.
Yeah, she was in The Journey of Natty Gann. That's
with John Cusack. That was the John Cusack movie.
And then she was also in Village of the Damned, the carpenter.
And I think she dated like Jason Bateman, or was in a movie with him in the 80s. Like she had her moment in the 80s, and she's really fun in this movie. So let's get into it. What is your favorite scene?
Let's get back into it,
baby. Back into that Lake Placid. Back into Lake Placid.
All right.
Dive in.
That's right.
Dive into that crocodile lake.
All right. Fave scene. Okay, my fave scene I'm gonna go with is towards the end the cow scene when they are using her as a tea bag and dipping her in there. It's very
It's like your favorite things. You love cows, farm animals, and you love tea bagging.
And I love alligators. And I love Bridget Fonda. So it's just like a lot.
But remember, it's a crocodile.
Yeah, it's a crocodile in there, but it's fine, guys.
Who fucking cares?
I'm not gonna keep fixing this, okay? So I love the teabag scene. It mixes funny with suspense. I mean, we're supposed to be waiting for this 30-foot crocodile to come and try to snap the cow that's being used as bait. And what I feel for that cow, for the rest of the movie, we're worried. Did the cow survive?
Well, I'm sitting there like, eat that cow! Eat it!
It didn't, though.
No.
We see it at the end when the alligator is, or when the crocodile is inside the helicopter. There's that quick little shot of the cow just walking by.
And I guess they gave us one cow getting eaten.
We did see that one cow because Betty White feeds that cow. And I love how she, in that scene, I just love the taking care of the cows. The wrapped up the eyes and everything so it got led there, but it didn't have to, see this crocodile just waiting in the water. Okay, I love that scene. There you go. And also because, Bridget Fonda has, a moment where she's all getting, bounced around, having to run away from that alligator just, right after. So it's really good, builds up to that. And
love it when Bridget Fonda gets jostled.
I love when I'm jostling Bridget Fonda, but because it's nasty. Jostle me up, Miss Fonda, if you're nasty.
Miss Fonda, if you're nasty.
I feel a little dirty after saying all that. Okay, what's your fave scene?
I like the bear. The bear scene.
That's a good solid one too.
Because when I love bears, if I could have any kind of animal, it would be a bear. But I can't have a bear because they're dangerous.
They're super dangerous. You can't declaw a bear, and so. But if you could, I'd totally get you a bear.
Thanks, girl.
You're so welcome. And we're both milking our hair right now, acting like little sassy ladies.
But I like the bear scene. One's the first time we actually see the crocodile. You get that fun tension. They're in the woods running around, and then first you're scared of the bear attacking them. You're like, oh shit. On top of everything else, here's a fucking bear. And then the crocodile actually saves the day and saves them, and they get a good glimpse. The crocodile gets nice and full. So everyone wins in that moment.
And the look of the bear. The look on that bear's face.
He's
when
like,
it
whoa!
realizes like the crocodile. I can't imagine. That bear has probably never seen something like that in its entire life.
And that bear is probably like, I had plans, sir.
I'm a mama. I got cubs.
I was about to eat my meal. How dare you disturb my dinner? Calling for me at dinner time.
That crocodile's like, no, I got other plans for those people. They're gonna put a big old teabagging show on for me.
Teabag 'em, Larry. John Waters quote.
Teabag 'em, Larry. I just got it like after I started.
If you've ever seen the movie Pecker.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. And now you know. Knives ratings.
Oh, you go first, batch.
Oh, okay, fine. I was gonna go like uber low, but then it's a good, it's a movie. It's a late 90s movie. It's got, all the stars in it. I really wish it could have just been a little bit more evolved, but who cares?
It needs like 20 more minutes
exactly.
or something.
It's like,
it needs to
be
fleshed out a little bit more.
I want a little bit more character development. I get it from the Bridget Fonda character. That's not the hang-up. I get her.
But who the fuck is Bill Pullman?
Who's Bill Pullman? I don't get to know who he is. I don't get to know
I don't know his hopes
much
or
of the
dreams.
sheriff. Maybe it's just, and where it gives, maybe it doesn't, or where it takes, it doesn't necessarily give. I want a little bit more, but it's okay. So I'm gonna give it a 3. Three knives is solid.
That's what I'm gonna go with too. Is 3. I think I was actually gonna go a little higher, but then I think I went down. I was originally thinking maybe 3.5, but I'm with you. There's a little something missing, but where it does hit its mark is with like the fun banter with like Betty White and Oliver Platt, and
she does save so much of that movie by just being the comic relief in it.
And there's something to be said about Steve Miner. Is it Miller?
Yes.
Miner. Yeah, Miner.
Yeah, Miner. You're right.
He knows the genre. He knows how to make a fun scare. He could have gone a little harder.
It's
we
like
really only get
rated R. We should have seen
more. We only get that one at the beginning, really, where he pulls the man back into the boat and he's like bitten in half.
All the entrails.
And that's like
out.
the best makeup effect. I know it didn't make our favorite scenes, but it's kind of like the best bit of gore or viscera in the movie. You get the head getting bit off, but it's so fast you don't see anything. You get maybe a flash of the head rolling near Bridget Fonda, but yeah, it could have gone a little harder for that R rating.
It's like, you got it, so go ahead, give us some blood, give us some guts. It's a gator.
It's a gator
gonna
movie.
Be ripping people apart.
Aquatic horror. You're not Jaws. Nothing's ever gonna be that classy or good again.
Right.
Probably in this genre, unless someone can really think of something new to do with it.
Yeah.
And they're not reinventing the wheel here in Lake Placid. So what you want in a movie like this is just like the crazy scare scenes and the gore, and you don't get a lot of that. You do get the tension is there, and you get a lot of like funny characters. Just some of them, like Bill Pullman, needs to be fleshed out more.
For sure.
I want to know who he is.
Well, it's like, okay, so we get him giving us that information about the perch that are jumping. Why isn't that more in the movie? Like, how come we don't get a few more instances of the flying the fish, giving us that tension building, the suspense, like the alligator is coming. And so he just drops like a little bit of knowledge, but we don't really find out much about him. He's kind of a bro. That's it. And
he has that like tender moment with Bridget Fonda where they're kind of like talking about their childhood a little bit, but even that's kind of hokey. It doesn't really. It's obviously unmemorable. We just watched the movie, and I'm like, I don't really remember what they talk about in that scene.
Yeah, it lacks. So it's a good 3.
It's a good 3, late 90s, 1999 summer movie. It's a fun one to watch in the summer.
It's just when you have that cast, utilize them.
And it being so short helps, since they didn't flesh things out or aren't going to give us that much gore, or not even gore, but just like there could have been like maybe bigger set pieces, bigger scenes, more chases, more action.
a little bit more for that alligator. We don't even get, other than that Bridget Fonda, a couple of times she's the damsel in distress in the water kind of situation, and that's about it. When we get the doc, in the moment in the water with him talking to the alligator, or talking to the crocodile, you're king of the crocodiles, and I'm, you're just a godlike creature.
Exactly.
That's a little bit it. Okay, we're done.
So that's that. Next month, guys, for episode 55 is next month?
Episode
this was 54.
55, yep,
Yeah,
55, yep, 55.
Next month for 55, we are going to go, COVID willing, to Memphis. We already have our VIP tickets to Graceland. We're hoping, as of right now, they're saying they're taking COVID measures. They as well have way decreased their tours. I think they're down to 25% capacity is what they're doing. So we kind of feel safe doing this. You have to wear masks, whatnot. So we're going to cover Bubba Hotep and go to Graceland.
I'm really excited.
I'm excited too. I'm ready to kind of get out. I know we are just coming back from Texas, but
it was, we just hung out at another person's home for the weekend.
Yeah, and I think too, just the last 3 or 4 months, it's all we've done is sit around and watch movies and eat. And I mean, it's been glorious, don't get me wrong, but I'm yearning to break free, damn it.
Yeah, it'll be kind of fun to do something that's just a little bit more involved.
And it's not Texas. Like I said, Texas, other than Houston. Houston does feel doesn't feel like Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah,
but
not like Dallas.
It's still Texas. For Okies, we go to Texas all the time.
Crossing that state line. Okay. All right, guys.
All right. We'll see you next month.
Thanks for all the love, and keep sending it. Please, follow us on Instagram,
Facebook, Twitter.
Give us the iTunes rating, please. It helps us out. We love doing this. We want to keep doing this. And please send us messages if you know of stuff to do, especially now with all this COVID stuff. If you are in a state that's really close to us, tell us about it. Maybe we could journey that way.
Yeah, we maybe have a blank slate for September, so we're needing some good September ideas. Nothing too crazy. We can't take off too much work this month because we have a big trip in October.
Yes,
that we'll tell you about soon.
And that's not getting canceled.
Yeah.
No way.
We're going no matter what.
Yeah, and it's a good reason why. We it's not something that COVID would hold us back from.
Yeah. But we'll tell you about that soon. Coming up. We got big plans for October. But yeah, we're always taking suggestions. If you have a cool movie/trip idea, a good combo for us, let us know. But yeah, give us those ratings and reviews. It really helps us out, keeps us going. Love you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.